I mean, what more can be said about what was one of the greatest playoff performances in sports history? Shohei Ohtani set numerous records Friday night. First player ever with 3 homers at the plate, 10 strikeouts on the mound, and with all due respect to Reggie and Albert and Pablo Sandoval, guys that have had 3-homer games, none of them pitched that night. Welcome inside. Dontrell Willis joins us. You've watched everything he's done in a Dodger uniform for the last 2 years. How do you wrap your head around this? How do you quantify what he did?
You can't. He's a standalone. I mean, it's truly remarkable what he does on both sides of the baseball. 11 of the fastest pitches from either side came from Shohei Ohtani. Also, the 3 home runs, exit velo of 116, 116, and 113. Some of the hardest hit balls in all of baseball. It's truly remarkable to see his athleticism. He strikes out the side in the first inning, hustles off the mound, leadoff home run, first to ever do it in a regular season or postseason game. And he is box office, and he's going against himself right now. My own mother, captain, called me after the second home run. I said, Shohei went deep again. She said, a third time. And so if you're a casual fan or a lover of baseball, you're just in awe of what he does on the mound. He continues to raise the ball higher and higher.
I tell you what, man, no one of us was born where Babe Ruth was doing his thing, but I'm so happy that I was born in this era right here so that I can watch greatness. Watch this guy swing right here once again. This first ball that he hit in the parking lot, it's a cutter in the hands. Come on, guys. I thought that the greatest thing I was ever going to see from the left side of the home plate, it was going to be Barry Bonds. But look at this guy. Look at this thing right here, man. Come on.
Launch angle.
That's not easy to do. Caught it in the hand, launch angle. Look at Freddie. Freddie's like, oh, no. And watch this. We got candy for you guys in left center, too. Just in case you were planning going home, look at Magic. Going all crazy out there. I mean, come on, guys. We are watching greatness right here. And watching this guy hitting and pitching, like you say, in our era, our lifetime, this is something, I don't care what anybody say, this is fun to watch.
You're right, and Babe Ruth is a perfect name. I mean, we've been used to, no matter what sport it is, say that was a Ruthian effort, right? Are we getting to the point that we're going to say Ohtanian feat, right? Because that's how good he is, and really there is no comp. It reminds me of 1977 when Reggie hit those 3 home runs. There's probably 3 million people out there saying, I was at that game. Yes. It was impossible. It's only 54,000. The same will be said about Game 4 at Dodger Stadium. Simply said, Captain, here's the deal. Right now, he is the most impactful and the best athlete on planet Earth.
Wow. Well, first of all, I can't let this go. What high school do you go to where there's 22-year-old seniors?
It's called Dominican Republic University Hybrid.
They kick you out.
I couldn't let it go. But back to Ohtani. I think, this culture nowadays, they're very quick to always say everything is the greatest, right? It's the greatest this. It's the greatest I've ever seen. We were talking about Ohtani, I believe, at the All-Star break, and I said, it's tough for you. You can't say he's the greatest player ever because he has to have a longer career. You got to do this for a long time. And we've had Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. We've had a lot of players that have come through this game. But I think you can say that he has the greatest tool set of any player that we've seen. To your point, he strikes out the side, and then he jogs in, and he goes and he hits a home run. So if you just break it down, from a pitching
that's what they call greatness.
Yeah, you go from a pitching standpoint, he's striking out 10. And then offensively, it's not like other sports. Basketball, you have the ball. Football, you can be a quarterback. He gets a pitch to hit, and he does absolute damage. So, I mean, that's probably one of the greatest performances we've seen.
Dodgers have 6 days to wait and rest up for a World Series.
Good morning, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McCain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Thanks for rocking with us here to celebrate another National League pennant. I got home from Dodger Stadium a little over an hour ago. I was in the clubhouse, in the locker room. We got interviews with Mookie Betts and so many of the Dodger players. I'll tell you everything I heard from these players. And it was a special night at Dodger Stadium. This is a night that we will never forget. This is a night that our grandkids will tell their grandkids about, because tonight we saw a performance from Shohei Ohtani that you have to say is the greatest performance ever by an individual in the postseason. And I'll tell you why. Not only were the numbers incredible, Shohei Ohtani, 3 for 3, 3 home runs, 6 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts. Well, how about this? The bar now for great performances is, did you pitch and did you hit? And did you do both at an elite level in a clinching game to win a pennant? That is exactly what Shohei Ohtani did tonight. That is what Shohei Ohtani did at Dodger Stadium in front of 50,000 Dodgers fans that were in awe. People couldn't believe it. I was looking at faces. There was shock. There was shock. And I think to myself, is this Kobe Bryant's 81-point game? Is this Will Chamberlain's 100-point game? I would say no. I don't think you can compare this to anything. I mean, it's impossible. Because think about this. Let's lay this out here right now. We're going to break down the game. We'll get interviews, hear from Dave Roberts. I'll get your comments. Thanks for rocking with me, guys. Early in the morning here, I dropped a behind-the-scenes video about an hour ago. We'll play that a little later. But think about this. If a player hits 3 home runs in a postseason game, that's already epic. It's happened before in this franchise. Kike Hernandez did it in 2017 against the Cubs. Chris Taylor did in 2021 against the Braves. And then if a pitcher goes 6 shutout innings and has 10 strikeouts, that's also one of the greatest performances in franchise history. So both of those in and of themselves are already incredible performances. Think about this. You just look at the pitching side. Shohei Ohtani is just one of 4 Dodgers to strike out at least 10 batters in a scoreless start that lasted at least 6 innings in a postseason game. So he's one of just 4 Dodgers pitchers, along with Sandy Koufax, who did it twice, Clayton Kershaw did it once, and Blake Snell did it a couple of nights ago. So you just separate those two things, a 3 home run game and a 6 scoreless appearance shutout start outing where you have 10 strikeouts, and it's already in elite territory. But when you combine those two skill sets, and it's something that only the unicorn like Shohei Ohtani is capable of doing, then you really start to verge on greatest performances really in the history of sports. I mean, is it that hyperbole to say that? Because, like I said, 3 home runs in a clincher is already an all-time game. 6 scoreless with 10 strikeouts, already an all-time game. But the same guy doing both in the same game? It's incomprehensible. It really is. It's almost unimaginable to the human mind. It is like you're picturing 100 light years and what that means in time and space. And you're trying to think about infinity and just these things that are tough for the human mind to comprehend. It's unreal. So anytime you want to talk about greatest performances in postseason history, my first question is always going to be this. If he didn't pitch and hit in the same game, is it even in consideration? Because if he didn't pitch and hit in the same game and did both at an elite level, then I don't want to hear it. It was incredible. Absolutely unbelievable. Think about all the things that we saw today for the first time. Think of all the things that we saw for the first time. It was the first time that a Dodgers pitcher had hit a home run in a postseason game. It was the first time in Major League Baseball history we'd ever seen a human being have at least 3 home runs and 10 strikeouts in a game. Think about this. Not only have we never seen that, Shohei Ohtani is the only player in Major League Baseball history to have at least 3 home runs and 10 pitching strikeouts in his entire postseason career. It's just unbelievable. He's incredible. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Entering today's game, heading into tonight, there's only 12 hitters in the history of Major League Baseball to ever have a 3 home run game in a postseason game. And there's only 26 pitchers that have ever recorded 10-plus strikeouts that have allowed 2 or less hits and no runs in a postseason start. Shohei Ohtani did both of those things in the same game. And I asked myself, is he now on the Mount Rushmore of LA athletes? Sure, you need more championships if you want to go down as the all-time greatest. I think he's already the most talented and greatest player ever imaginable. He'll tell you he needs more championships. But I think right now, he doesn't end up on the Mount Rushmore of LA athletes. I think he's the Lincoln Monument. He is just all by himself just because this guy I think is going to go down as the greatest player in baseball history. It's just unbelievable stuff. And the what I was so impressed with, too, we know he can hit home runs. This is the first time he went to the 7th inning in this one. And he goes 6 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, had 10 strikeouts, did have 3 walks. But I think you got the full Shohei Ohtani experience in this one for what he can do as a player. Shohei Ohtani goes out there in the first inning, and it's the first batter of the game. He walks Terang on 6 pitches, and then what does he do next? He starts to rack up the punch-outs. He strikes out Churio, nasty 100-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball right on the black, perfect location, strikes out Yelich looking a 100-mile-per-hour heater down the way, and then he gets Contreras swinging on 3 pitches, dirty sweeper running in on him. He did a fantastic job his entire start, avoiding the heart of the plate, was leaving no cookies out over the middle. He was working the edges. The stuff was crisp. He had the sweeper, the four-seamer, the slider, the cutter. He had the full repertoire working. And then, how about you get yourself some run support? Bottom of the first inning, Shohei Ohtani, who entered this game, and he had struggled. He had struggled. Make no mistake about it. It was not a great postseason so far heading into this one. He had 4 hits in 33 at-bats in his last 8 games, but 2 of those 4 hits came in games 2 and 3. Ohtani, in the 4-game series, though, all of a sudden, with tonight, the numbers exploded. So he was 4 for his last 33 heading into this one, and then bottom of the first inning, 3-2 count, crushes a Jose Quintana slurve to right 446 feet. It was the second consecutive NLCS where Shohei had a home run off of Jose Quintana. And then we'll get back to glazing Shohei Ohtani. By the way, I'm not going to do this very often throughout the show, but if you guys watched the show the other night, if you watched the LA Sports Report today, I was saying heading into today's game, I was the only person, I'm pretty sure, on planet Earth that still thought that Shohei Ohtani was going to win NLCS MVP. It's on record. It's on multiple shows. I was talking to Jerry Hairston Jr. before the game today, and I said, Jerry, everyone has Yamamoto or Blake Snell winning the NLCS MVP. And Jerry Hairston said the same thing. One of those guys is going to win NLCS MVP, maybe do a co-MVP. But I told Jerry Hairston, I said, what if Shohei Ohtani does something crazy tonight? What if Shohei Ohtani goes out there and has 10 strikeouts and gets a home run or 2 home runs, has a multi-home run game? Then I think that Shohei runs away with the NLCS MVP, because if you're having a 4-game sweep and one of those 4 games you're the starting pitcher for, well, then you're basically equal to Snell and Yamamoto as far as your contributions as being a starter that helped you win that game. And yes, you could say Blake Snell and Yamamoto's starts were better than Shohei Ohtani's tonight. I'm not debating that. But then you factor in 4 games of hitting, 4 games of putting pressure on the pitcher. You're getting intentional walked. You had the triple yesterday that led to the Mookie Betts double that scored their first run. You had the single in game 2 that led to a run. You even had the intentional walk in game 1 that led to the Mookie Betts walk that led to the game-winning run because of how Blake Treinen and Roki Sasaki pitched in that one. And then tonight, you get 3 home runs. And I tweeted at Jerry Hairston during the game saying that I told him that, and he commented underneath that I can confirm that he said that. Because the thing about Shohei Ohtani, and one of the things that I always stress as far as postseason, and I'm so happy that at least for a night, this stupid narrative, Shohei Ohtani, he's not a postseason player. Shohei Ohtani's a regular season player. Oh, it's Shohei's the no-show. Where's regular season Shohei? Oh, here's the other narrative. Shohei Ohtani can't hit when he pitches. Shohei Ohtani can't hit on days after he pitches. And sure, if you looked at the numbers heading into this game, 4 for his last 33. If you look at the numbers when he pitches, after he pitches, all of that data, all those stats would support the idea